The following podcast is sponsored by Bunderin Press. Bunderin Press is a Canadian publisher of quality science fiction titles, including this month's releases of Duatro by Brad C. Anderson, The Dark Corridor by Jennifer Ron, and The Sixth Helix by Al Anya. Check these books and more at bunderinpress.ca. And by Adam Dries. Adam's latest release, 5 Critical Things for Successful Book Science, is available now on Amazon, Kobo, and all other places you can get books electronically, and the physical release will be May 30th at Owlsnest Books at 7 p.m. Be there. Welcome, everyone, to episode 262 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Pentelresco. I write stuff in podcast 2. I conclude my conversation with Tash McAdam here, and here I learned an awful lot. Stay tuned to the end, you'll see what I mean. But I want to get some things out of the way. I'm giving away some books. 49th Parallels, edited by Hayden Trenholm. There is a mailing list. Put your email in the mailing list. Just add your email, and you will be eligible to entry. Also, I am giving away another copy of 5 Critical Things for Successful Book Science by Adam Dries. Adam is doing his physical launch of it tonight at Owl's Nest Books. You should go and check it out. Adam is one of the best speakers I've ever seen. He's an amazing presenter. He's an awesome writer, and you will definitely learn an awful lot being around him. And I'm telling you this, I wish I could go. But if you can go, you should go. You will learn an awful lot about how to launch your book. So authors, I encourage you to go check out Owl's Nest Books, 7 p.m. tonight. All right, let's just get on with the conversation, shall we?
Fight scenes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's. I'm actually reading the Buffy comic from Boom right now. It's really good. It's a
The new ones.
Yeah, they're brand new. Good luck.
Just launching Angel as well as a tie-in, right?
No. I don't know if if they are, I don't know about that. I just know that.
Got announced just now. They're giving them away with the 3rd edition of the newest Buffy launch. Like the modernized one.
Oh, wow, damn. Damn, because I did not know that. I collect comics too. So there's a couple things from my childhood. Like, for example, I collect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like, when I saw number 1, it's like, I'm in. It's also by the same one of the creators of the book is one of the original creators of the book. I'm like, I'm in. I just don't care. I'm in, right? And I thought with Buffy, the same thing. I was like, you know what? I missed the Dark Horse run. I'm curious what Boom does with it, so I'm in.
I didn't get into it. I tried really hard in season 8. I just didn't like it.
This is a complete this is a relaunch from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's a relaunch, right?
Yeah, it's a complete relaunch from the beginning. So it's like, what if Buffy was modern? For example, Willow is openly gay right away. Whereas in Buffy that came over time, right? This time around, it's not even that at all. It's more like everybody there's some status quo things from Buffy that are automatically there at the beginning. There's no surprises that way.
How are they doing with Xander being a huge creep?
Well, pardon?
Is he less creepy now? How are they doing with Xander being a huge creep? Is he less creepy now?
Too early to tell.
One of the big things. It didn't hold up for me over time. I first watched Buffy when I was a teenager, and I rewatched it a couple of times. But when my current partner moved in with me, she'd never seen Buffy, so we watched it right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the huge things that just didn't hold up for me at all was Xander and his treatment of women. I was like, oh boy.
No, Xander is the hardest character to like in that show. When I first saw
Angel is the hardest character to like until he gets his own show. All he is hot and grumpy.
Well, yeah, no, come on, it's teenage angsty stuff. I found Xander.
And he's in love with a 16-year-old, and that is gross.
Hey, listen. Historically speaking, there are stranger marriages. I can just think of Sammy Champlain's marriage, for example. And it's like, oh, that's not creepy at all.
What's the age difference there?
My age to 13.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that, not Lolita?
Well, no, it just again different era, right? When you look at like a lot of marriages historically, like there's a huge age gap between the guy and the girl.
Yeah, Buffy's not that old though.
No, oh no, Buffy's not that. No, Buffy's not that old, right? But Angel's that old, and he's from those eras, right? So I'm not saying it was.
Oh, I see. You're excusing him for being in love with a 15-year-old because he's from a time
when that was normal. That
150. You would have anything to say to a 15-year-old.
Hey, listen, I don't. I'm not saying it's right. Just say that.
He's hot.
What?
He thinks she's hot, and he's like, "I'm in love with you," and it's creepy.
So what do you think about Spike towards the end of the run then? Because he did the same damn thing.
About Spike?
Yeah, he did the same thing.
Well, she's older.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
No, I like it better because she's a little bit older.
Okay.
When that kid, she's like 18.
I thought she was older than that, but I thought she was older than that by the time it got to that point. I don't know how the continuity worked there. So.
Season 6 when they really start.
Yeah.
Dating, right, and so she starts college in season 4. So yeah, maybe 20, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Like she's an adult.
And it's still weird.
Yeah.
Like it's not great. Because he is still significantly older than her. If he was like 60 and looked 60, or even if he was like a super hot 60, everyone would be like, "That's terrible." But just because they look of a comparable age.
Yeah, they look. Well, that's totally.
But also, Spike is really immature, which I think helps.
Oh, he's super immature. Like in comparison, super immature.
Like he acts like a teenager.
Yes. Oh yeah, no, he totally does. He never had to grow up until he met her. Then he grew up, which I thought was cool about the last season. What? Pardon?
He has no impulse control, which is a very
yes,
lobe kind of situation.
Well, no, he just.
I mean, I'm not saying any age difference in Buffy actually was something that I supported, but I feel way more comfortable with Spike and Buffy from an age difference perspective, not necessarily from the other writing choices in there that I ever did with Angel and Buffy, which I thought was really gross.
Fair enough. But again, going back to the initial point, Xander was the one character I did not. The more I knew him, the less I liked him.
Yeah, that's fair. Me too.
Yeah, the more I knew him, the less I liked him. Because he's courageous. Like, the one thing you gotta give him, you know what? He's got courage. You gotta get at least.
Loyal-ish.
What?
He's loyal in a very specific way.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. But you throw that aside, he's a very broken, damaged person, and he's not trying to make himself better at all. And that's the part that really bothered me about him.
And he consistently makes really awful choices.
That part. It was the only. I'm more forgiving of that, other than it goes back to my initial problem with him. It's not that he makes bad choices. It's that he keeps making the same bad choices.
That's what I mean. He never grows as a person.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you excuse it when he's 16.
Yep.
But when he's 22, like.
Maybe you should. Like, again, making mistakes.
Maybe he should have grown a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. He in the current comic, he's angsty because they did an issue completely dedicated to his point of view, and he definitely hates himself. Like,
does Jesse still die?
Well, we're not that far in. We're literally 3 issues in, so yeah.
Jesse dies in the pilot of the show, though.
No, Jesse's not. There hasn't been any deaths. If you read the comic, it's a take you'd be familiar with, right? Okay. Right? But it's brand new.
I'm gonna read them.
Yeah.
I just haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah. The trade will be out after it, because I don't know if you can find number 1 at this point, because that book is selling very well. But
always things if you look hard enough.
That's true. If you have the cash, though, good luck. All right. But
I mean, I also have friends that I can almost certainly borrow them from.
Oh, fair enough. But Jordi Belair is the writer. It's her take on Buffy, and it's from the very beginning, which I think is a better it's a better what can I say than I think going to season 8, season 9, season 10. It's going from the beginning from what would Buffy be like today, which I think is which is a really good way to do it.
I was really sad about season 8 because I loved the finale of Buffy the show. Like, I thought they did such a great job with that, like, really hopeful ending.
Yeah.
Like, there was still going to be more, obviously, and she's still the Slayer, but she has this huge team, and they get to be, like, superheroes and training together. Thought it was really good, and then season 8 just, for me.
I missed it. I missed the season 8 boat. I was busy in my own little comic book world at that point in time. It made some headlines in a couple spots. I heard from a lot of people it was alright, but at that point it was like, you know, I'm comfortable in my own comic book universe, and I was. Right now, I'm at a point now where I don't want to
bring a new thing into that.
Yeah, at that point. Now, like my reading.
Long-term relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do have. Though I have a couple characters I have long-term relationships in terms of reading-wise, but there are some books that are just like I'm giving this Buffy shot a run because I like Boom. I love Boom books. They do good. They do generally really good stuff, and also I just feel like I'm ready to read something like this. Whereas back then it wasn't where it wasn't where my reading tastes were, right? I find with at least in comic books, my reading tastes have evolved. I either read the really good superhero books or the really good independent books, and very little in the middle.
That's fair.
Yeah. So
I think there's so much content, like you said, and everything always, that I think we have to be somewhat selective.
We have no choice. We only have so much time in the day.
Exactly. And so much energy to give to things that we love, right?
Absolutely.
Why read something or watch something that we think is like, yeah, it's okay, when there's so much that we can fall in love with?
Oh, there's tons of things, but it's the right place at the right time. Like a character, I'll give you like a comic book example. A character I've always wanted to read a good story from, but have never seemed to run into it at the right time, is The Flash. I think The Flash is right. I think The Flash is damn cool, but I have never been able to get into it at all. I would just miss my window of opportunity every time. Or, the one time I did get it, it wasn't good. So.
Yeah. Everything's got to be lined up perfectly to find a new passion.
Exactly. Oh, well, like I said, I think like everything else in life, you have to be ready for certain things, right? Before you get those opportunities. Otherwise, what tends to happen is you wouldn't appreciate them for what they were at the time. And
sometimes the opposite is true, where you're just looking for something to feel like, this is fine, I just need a filler, like I don't want to be emotionally invested in anything, I just want to like have something on in the background, and then you end up obsessed, which is what happened to me with Z Nation.
Oh God, that's an interesting. I can see why you get it. I can see why you get into that. It's actually a really fun. The concept's super good. I love that concept. It was.
I think it's so good. Like, I don't know, my partner and I both love it. We keep having conversations with people who are like, I didn't even make it into like episode 2, and we're like, what? It's the best zombie show ever. And I love zombies. Don't get me wrong. I watch most new zombie offerings.
Yes. Okay.
Grab me, and for me, Z Nation really is peak. The cinematography, the plot twists, the cast, I love it.
It's just a fun concept. Like it just like the take on zombies was it's different. It's not a zombie. It's a zombie story, but it's about a zombie world, and not like in a Walking Dead, the world is going to end kind of way either, which I think is.
Walking Dead is just a long, like, elaborate humanity. Let's investigate how the people respond to trauma, which is sad for me because I loved the comic books of the Walking Dead and the show. Man, I just was like, how did you make a zombie show boring?
In one term, that he was like, this is what he said. This is his conversation to the TV executive. This zombie show is boring, and the TV exec will keep throwing money at you until you say yes, and eventually he goes, okay, have fun with it, and that's it. Also, too, I mean, I think The Walking Dead has run its course in terms of both as a comic and as a show. It's like that story's been told. It's ready to be finished being told, and other things need to move on, right?
One of the things with me for The Walking Dead is that it's not about hope, which I feel all apocalypses, if they have something important to say to me, I want it to be about hope and change and growth and like community. And The Walking Dead is just about being miserable and everybody hating each other and being terrible, as far as I can tell. I just never get invested in shows that are about people being terrible.
But there was also no end game with it. I mean, it's just, right. There's no end game in there at all.
We have something good.
Yes.
And what terrible ruins it.
Yes. And then that's it, and that is the. I mean, and it's the same thing over and over again. They go to a place, it's a cool place. They fight, they deal with whatever's going on there, right? Cool. And then what happens after that is someone messes it up, and they go on another journey. They find another place. It's a repeat over and over and over again. Even the comic got that way.
Yeah.
Right. Once the governor arc was done, I was done with it. It's just like,
yeah, same. That's where I noped out as well.
Yeah, I think as a concept, the Governor was probably one of the best new villains ever introduced. I really like that, but where do you go from there once you're done with that?
Yeah. Well, that's another thing about things refusing to die, right? Not just in a zombie sense.
Yeah.
Those often go on past their arc.
Yeah, well, it's...
In graphic novels and comics, I think that you can kind of do that. Like, you can have big cyclical arcs and go over and over again, because the time span that you enjoy them over is so much more elongated than this, like, binge TV world that we live in now.
Well...
Like, I guess a few people are watching it currently airing, but I think most people are watching, like, a whole season at a time.
Yeah.
And there has to be some kind of, like, satisfactory...
You have the opportunity to immerse yourself into a whole arc and get the full satisfaction. You don't have to wait anymore. Or when you are waiting, you're waiting for the season, not for the
Exactly. Then you watch it in 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. And you have the ability to invest in it, and it's a different way of watching it. Whereas when you were back in our day, we would have to wait week to week, right? Yeah. And
it's a different way of.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I do think. As a novelty, I could see a week-to-week thing come back in some form or other down the road. But let's be honest, we're in a binge. We're currently in a binge culture. We can binge on anything.
Well, Netflix is now taking American Idol. I have noticed. I think it's like I don't know. I don't actually know the schedule. Like a week after or something, but they're airing it one episode at a time. Mm-hmm. Which I think is really interesting because I don't know if anybody else is doing that. Like on Netflix, I don't think they are. I think most shows are coming out in chunks. But things like Hulu have been doing episodic releases for quite a while. I know a lot of my friends in the States are really excited about that because then they have their like weekly schedule.
Well, yeah, because there's a comfort to that too, right? I it takes work to make it. It doesn't matter what we make. It takes work to do that, right, and put it together.
The labor that goes into it.
Yeah, there's tons of labor, and it's also just the fact that it isn't always about having the whole cake at once, right? It's sometimes nice to get a layer of it one week, and then another layer the next, and then another layer the next, right? It's a different way of telling this thing, and then here's the deal. I mean, if you want to binge it. You can buy the DVD later and binge, which is right. Today more than anything else, our mediums deal with experience, how we experience them, right? Whereas before we had only really one option, which was television, maybe radio for those of us that have to work in a job where we can't watch television, right? So those were the two mediums. Now there are podcasts like mine. Which you can get anytime you want. You have shows that just do like whole seasons in one go, right? You have that option now. You have binging that way. You have YouTube, right, which is another form of entertainment out there, right?
And episodic, right? Like YouTubers are often doing their outlay as an episodic situation, so you can binge their past content.
Exactly.
They don't like drop a season on you at once, like Netflix. I don't know, like the world seems to shut down when like the new season of Orange Is the New Black comes out or something.
Again, right? But what I'm getting to is like everything's about an experience. So now it's cool in one sense. Again, as a creator, you have the ability now to control okay, how am I going to release this? Where am I going to release this? How can I tantalize my audience or my potential audience, right? We have a lot more choices today, which is a good thing, but also going back to the very beginning, it can be an overwhelming thing too.
It can definitely be, yeah. I'm often reluctant to start shows that I know are going to be really good, but that have a lot of seasons out already, because of the accessibility of the binge watching thing. If there's 7 seasons, is that all I'm then going to do for the next 3 months? Like,
yes, I will, and I won't. And
instead of reading, am I just going to be watching Grey's Anatomy for the rest of my life?
Yes, you are, and you'll love it, and I
do love it. I started it in October, and I can't escape.
See, and you're like.
I started Grey's Anatomy because I thought it was going to be like a good thing to have just on in the background while I like worked out and cleaned the house and like did my chores and stuff. Copy edits. I like to have noise on in the background for copy edits. But it turns out I don't get anything done whilst Grey's Anatomy is on. All I do is watch the Hot Doctors.
Yes, right. Yeah, that's right. All you're gonna do is watch and play, and the Hot Doctors do all their things, and it's like, and they're funny and it's entertaining, and it's like.
Every time they're just hot doctors saving lives. Like, why is that fascinating to me? I don't know.
Yeah,
Josh, free me.
Maybe it's hopeful and empowering.
I don't know what it is.
It's okay.
It's like the Doritos of television.
Gotcha. I can respect that. You're like, I shouldn't eat this Dorito Crunch, but it's so sweet and tasty.
I ate this whole bag of Doritos.
And I should feel guilty, but I don't.
But I do feel a bit gross.
Yes.
Exactly.
Television
shows as different food types would definitely be an interesting.
Oh, no, yeah. It's like, what's the meat coma? Something like probably Game of Thrones.
My God, Game of Thrones is definitely the meat coma.
Yes. Right, and whereas what's the junk food, right? Well,
junk food is probably all of those like horrible soap operas.
No, I have a specific food type for soap operas. Ready? Rice cakes.
Pardon?
They're rice cakes. They are the rice cakes of television.
There's a rice cake?
Yes, because they're always there. They're these bland. It's this bland thing that's on every day. Yeah, right. I think they're rice. They're the rice cake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What are shows like those 20-minute, like quite clever, like Parks and Rec, B99, One Day at a Time, those kind of shows? What are they?
I would say like Soup, because they're not quite as meaty because they're not designed to be. Right. They're not designed to be.
That really cracked me up, man. Those are soup.
They're soup. That's right. If you disagree with my analogy, let me know.
No, I like it. It's like a quick, nutritious meal. It's like pretty good for you, but it's not like the same as a roast dinner or something.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So Soup, like that'd be Soup, like the original Daily Show, Soup. Right. Totally Soup. Right.
What is really boring salad? Is it the news?
No. News isn't even. News is hot dogs.
News is hot dogs? Hot dogs are terrible for you.
So is the news.
That's fair.
Yeah, so is the news. It's not.
So hot dogs, it seems like a good idea, and then you eat one, and then you're like, wow, I feel really nauseous.
Yeah, and watching the news is the same. I actually had this conversation right at the end of Korea Week when we did the Dead Dog. I was talking to Graham Darling, John Maven, and a few others, and what the insidious thing about news today. Like, there's always been sensationalism in journalism. Always. But, so the Nazis perfected propaganda. And when you look at a brand like Fox News, I admire them as a brand because they have a very clear idea of what they're doing, how they're doing it, and who they are. And you have to admire that.
They're very consistent.
You have to respect that. That's hard to do. That is really hard to do. Right? But, right? I would not recommend watching Fox News to anybody.
Yeah.
Right? But now you look at me. But it's worse today now, even more so. And then you got to be really careful about this.
Yeah.
Right? We have algorithms on our computers now. So if I want to get news of any kind, right? If I click on a certain link, I'm now going to get ads and things going towards that direction. If I click another link, so now here's what happens. It bubbles us now individually. So
chambers, yeah.
Right, and echo chambers, yes, but the other here's the truly terrifying part. You and I have different echo chambers. We might get the same information, but present it in completely different ways, just based on our proclivities. Right? If that's the case, what are we seeing out in the world that's actually true? It's even worse. And if you really sit there and think about that, that's horrifying.
Yeah, it is.
Right? That's horrifying. And that's it's important. So, like, when I do, like, actual research on stuff now, I don't even use Google. There are other places I go to actually get information. Because Google is a piece of crap, too. I'm being, like, very honest on that. It hasn't been a good search engine since about 2010. But it's a brand. When you say...
You know it can hear you, right?
What?
I said, you know it can hear you.
I know, whatever. I told you, I ain't scared of anything. I've been beaten to hell. I'm not worried about it.
Well, I, for one, would like to compliment our benevolent AI overlord.
That's right. All hail Goog, right?
I have, in my YA sci-fi series, Google is the defunct god of technology.
Yes.
Which I think's hilarious, but I quite often get reviewers being like, this is dumb. And I'm like, well, maybe this book isn't for you, because I thought that was peak.
Yeah, that's clever. But, like...
I think I'll laugh, and if it didn't make you laugh, probably you should get out now.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have to read your books. I'll have to read your books at some point. Let's think about this here. So, let's say other television shows. Sports shows or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, cotton candy.
No, I feel like sports shows should be something that's, like, really divisive.
Like, sorry, can you repeat that?
I think sports shows should be something that's, like, really divisive.
Okay.
Because people into sport are like, that's all they want to do. People. Like, I've been to parties where people have come and then turned the baseball on, and I'm like, this is not your house. Like.
Oh, okay. So, what's a fanatical food?
Ooh, everything I can think of is really offensive.
Okay. So.
Gonna get people mad at me if I say what I'm thinking.
Okay. So I won't get so sports food. Insert fanatical content here. What would be salad? Game shows.
Salad.
What?
Didn't you already do salad?
No. We went hot dogs with news.
Oh yeah, game shows can be salad. I don't know. No, salad's good for you and boring. Game shows are not good for you or boring.
I disagree on the boring part. Do you really want to watch people win?
No, but I do like watching people lose. I love, like, pub trivia and stuff. I watch quiz shows when I'm bored so that I can play the games.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a little... Okay, so salad isn't quite right for you. How about Fruit Loops? It could be Fruit Loops.
I love Fruit Loops.
There? Does that work?
Yeah, that totally works.
Okay, so Fruit Loops. Okay. I haven't figured out salad yet. Talk shows. Salads, talk shows. That's what they are.
Salad is talk shows. Nice.
Yeah, because seriously, if you really sit there and think about it, like good, there hasn't really been a good talk show since Larry King or Tom Snyder on the air.
I wouldn't know. I grew up without a television, and I still don't watch talk shows.
No, it's fair. It's fair enough. Look, if you ever want to see what a good a good interview is, right? How they used to be done. God, I feel like I'm an old fuck now, but that's.
We already know.
Yeah. Early Larry King. Larry King was always a good interviewer, but in his early days he was really good. And Tom Schneider was really, really good too. I loved when he was doing the Late Late Show. Like, you watch Letterman, you get laughed, and you watch Schneider, you'd be like, I'm actually getting some really good, like, content there. There was a conversation with Dick Clark that was like, wow, Dick Clark's a real human being. Who knew?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the chances of me ever actually watching any of these are low. But I think I've decided that sports shows are peanut butter, like sports games.
Okay. Peanut butter.
It's like people are so passionate about peanut butter, but also lots of people are allergic.
Gotcha. Okay, I could go with that.
The idea idea of a sports show being in the room makes some people be like, oh no, I might die.
Depends on the sport on the TV for me on that one. Some of them make me want to die slowly. Some of them make me go, okay, that's cool, right?
Crunchy or creamy.
Yes. Something like that. Yeah.
Metaphor really far now.
Yeah, it's okay. I think.
Some context. I hate peanut butter. I'm not allergic, but I do hate it.
Interesting. I used to hate it when I was a kid. Now I love it. So.
I only am able to eat it if it's in ice cream in those little cups, like in Moose Tracks ice cream.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For a really long time, I didn't believe my partner that was peanut butter.
Oh no, it is, but it's.
Apparently, but I'm not Canadian, so how could I know?
Yeah. Oh, you never know. I mean, so okay. So I guess the final one on television. What would be ice cream?
Oh, what's the best thing ever that just always makes you feel good?
Yes. On television. That's hard.
I don't know. The food thing is definitely going to be different for everybody, right?
Yeah, but again, going back to the grand scheme of things, I don't know. Like seriously, I know people who hate flavors of ice cream, but would you actually believe somebody if they said they hate ice cream?
I know someone who hates ice cream, and I really just don't believe them.
Yeah, see? That's my point. You don't, do you?
Like, just doing it to be cool and different.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't buy it. Okay. You might, okay, I used to not like chocolate ice cream. I love vanilla, right? Again, flavors, I can understand. Like, not every flavor's for you. But,
delicious goodness.
Yeah, but it's ice cream. Like.
Okay, so what about shows like, Buffy and Firefly and Leverage, Person of Interest, like those big, like, cult, like...
Ooh. Oh, that's a toughie.
I think those are my ice cream.
Okay.
They're like comfort food, but they're also, like, just incredible and satisfying. They cure my hangovers just like ice cream does.
I could go with that. For me, that shows Babylon 5.
Yeah, totally. Babylon 5 entirely fits under that.
Yes, that Babylon 5, like Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation.
Yeah, it was like 40-minute, like really deep but also really enjoyable shows.
Yes.
That's ice cream.
Yes, that is ice cream. I could go with that.
And then we can say only pretentious people don't like them.
Yes. Well, actually, then we just don't believe. Actually,
or the best shows.
Actually, you gave me a wonderful present. Thank you. If someone goes, I don't like those shows, I don't have to believe them anymore.
Nice.
Yes.
You just haven't tried the right flavor.
That's right. That's right. We haven't found your flavor yet, but it's there, and we'll find it.
And they're like, I only like sorbet. You're like, or frozen yogurt.
So we've had an interesting arc of a conversation. We started from fascism and we ended at ice cream.
Yeah, totally. Kind of days there.
Yeah, well, it's what this show does, right? So I think, Miss Tash, we have a good interview here. Do you think so?
Tash.
What?
It's not Miss Tash. I'm trans.
Ah. Oh, my bad.
I might sound like a lady, but I'm not. I use mix, which is the gender-neutral prefix.
Oh.
Recognized in Canada for 2 years now. It's even on my driver's license.
Oh, my apologies.
Accepted.
Yeah. So, sorry, can you repeat that again? Because I've never heard this before. MX?
MX, yeah. It's pronounced mix.
Mix?
And it means unspecified. So anyone can use it. You don't actually have to be trans.
Oh, okay.
It's quite a nice move away from the idea that you have to gender yourself in your prefix, which obviously historically has mostly been used to subjugate women.
Ah, I see.
And this is Ms. You get 3 different options if you're coded as feminine, but if you're a man, you just get to be Mr. forever, and you don't have to change your name if you get married because of manhood.
Well, once upon a time, I would have been called Master if I was a little kid, but I get where you're coming from.
Once upon a time, but not for quite some time.
Not for quite some time, no. It's been a long. The evolution of that has been interesting. When I was a kid, it was Miss, Mrs., right?
Yeah.
When I got to high school, that all got eradicated to Ms., and now it's gone to mix.
Well, Ms. was introduced to avoid people having to declare whether or not they were married.
Yeah.
Because women were treated differently based on their marital status,
Mm-hmm.
which is messed up. So they introduced a new prefix to hopefully try and negate some of that. but the whole concept of having to like put your gender in your prefix is already a bit messed up if you think about things like professor and doctor. There's quite a lot of like academic based prefixes that aren't gendered at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like the assumption then often is that those people are male. Like my sister's name is Alex, and and she's a doctor, and people often think that she's going to be a man.
Yeah, no, that is there are certain ones like I'm guilty of this too. If I see Joe, unless it's I actually see the spelling of it, right? I make that assumption too usually.
It's hard, right? It's the societal programming that we're all used to. But anyway, my point was gender neutral prefixes are a thing. You too can use them if you so choose, audience.
You can, and which reminds me, stay on the air when we're done. I'm going to ask you for a possible favor when we're done. If that's okay with you.
I don't know. Depends on the favor.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that after. I think what we will do, though.
I'm not going to confirm or deny.
Hey, and you know what? You don't have to confirm, and that's why. And that's why I'm going to ask off the air. So if you say no, I can bring my tears to myself off the air. And if you said yes, I can go woohoo and be all good, right? So.
Alrighty.
All right. So, Tash, plug your books and how people can find you.
Alright, I'm Tash McAdam. I write young adult science fiction and some urban fantasy. My books are usually focused around diverse characters, but not centralized around a struggle of being marginalized. So basically, I have queer, trans, people of color, women in positions of power, and they're all having adventures, and the story is mostly about the adventure, and all of those other identity facets are just part of who the people are, but not the main point of the story. My debut series is called The Psionics. It is marketed as X-Men meets 1984. It's about telepathic teenagers trying to overthrow a dystopian government who wants to use their powers for evil. I think it's pretty great. You should check it out. The first book is called I Am the Storm, and the second book is called We Are the Catalyst. I highly recommend reading the second book first, because I Am the Storm is supposed to be a prequel.
Fair enough. How can people find you?
You can find me almost any platform at Tash McAdam, TashMcAdam. My website is tashmcadam.com. I'm pretty consistent because there's nobody else that has the same name as me, so fairly easy to find.
Fair enough. And that was my conversation with the amazing Tash McAdam. Tash's books, being with I Am the Storm, and she has more books in her series. I really dig the concept. It's very, as I said in the previous podcast, kind of reminds me of something I'd read in X-Men, but there's a bit more of a young adult sensibility, but it's still very, very cool. I'm looking forward to reading them. Tash, thank you very much for coming on my podcast. You are welcome to come back anytime you'd like. And that will do it for this episode of Just Joshing. So if you want to support the podcast, you can do so a number of different ways. You can subscribe to the podcast. I am at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podomatic, and many other players. You can look me up. You can find me. Subscribe, listen, comment, share. Appreciate all of that. Support my sponsors. Check out bunderandpress.ca. Check out Adam Dries. His book, 5 Critical Things, is available now. Congratulations, Adam. My books, The Watcher, Stormdancer, Wandering God, are available through Mirror World Publishing. Mirror World Publishing currently has a special on for The Watcher. You can get it for free right now. Go to mirrorworldpublishing.com and you can do that. Outside of that, my YouTube channel is Joshua Pantellaresco. My Twitter and Instagram is JedJPantellaresco. And my Facebook page is Joshua Pantellaresco, author, podcaster. Feel free to like it and join in. I always announce cool stuff there. Beyond all that, guys, be inspired, keep doing your thing, and I'll see you guys next week.
Josh.